know why the Mets pitcher was going crazy, and then it hit him. It struck him that this guy thinks I know his signal, and he had no clue. So Teixeira started playing it up, and the Mets pitcher got more and more aggravated and infuriated. And I don't remember what the result of the at-bat was. I think it was a walk, but Teixeira was playing it up, and after the game, he said, I had no idea what was going on or what he was getting so worked up about, but I figured I'd go along with it and try and get in his head. And they did. Okay. And the Yankees wound up scoring runs that inning.
So the guy has to be on second base.
Well, pretty much.
It helps.
Because like I said, it's directly in the batter's field of vision.
Okay.
So if a batter knows what pitch is coming, I mean, obviously, the location is a big deal with it, but if a batter knows the difference between a fastball and an off-speed pitch, that just lets him tee off. That's more than half the battle with hitting is figuring out what pitch is coming.
Okay.
And you know, hitters will often guess or try to figure out or outthink the pitcher and say, all right, you know, it's 3-1. There's probably a fastball coming because it's a fastball count. And you know, then they zone in terms of, all right, the pitch has to be, you know, in this little box area of the strike zone for me to take a swing at it. That's what hitters are trying. Hitters are trying to every pitch they're trying to get an advantage. That's why a first pitch strike is like the batter's worst enemy, because you get immediately put into a hole, and then you're spending the rest of the at bat trying to get some kind of an advantage back.
Okay. So
that's why this and Major League Baseball essentially told the Red Sox after, like I said, they admitted to cheating. Cheating is supposed to be bad. Pete Rose cheated. What happened? You know, he wound up getting kicked out of the game.
Well, he gambled.
Well, but still, I mean, you know, the point being that all baseball did in this instance, where a team actually admitted to cheating, was you better not do that again. What is that? Are you kidding? I mean, at the very least, they should have taken away some kind of draft compensation or something. Take away a first-round pick or a fifth-round pick or something, but you have to make it hurt a little bit. Like I said, having them write a check, big deal. These are billionaires we're talking about.
It's funny how Boston, you know, a few years ago wasn't the biggest, you know, before their new owners came in and they basically started to really spend money. But they were sort of a downtrodden team in many ways.
Well, I would never call them downtrodden.
Now they own their own. They own their own network. They redid Fenway Park. They sell out constantly.
They built up Fenway Park. I mean, they added the monster seats, obviously.
Right, but they added other seats too.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to you know, every last inch of that ballpark that they can use to put a seat in, they've pretty much done it by now.
Right, yeah.
So that's to raise revenue. I mean, all of that is about revenue, and
they own
I don't blame them for that. But that's what the point is. It's all revenue.
I think what they maybe should have done, if they knew they were cheating, then you have to make it a little more worthy than just a check. But at the same time, let's be honest, the baseball draft is not the equivalent the way the football draft is, where you actually can change your team. Baseball draft, usually the person getting drafted goes to Double-A or Single-A at the beginning.
Well, yeah, but those are all prospects. Look at all the prospects the Yankees have now. You know, and the Red Sox have actually built better with the draft. I've said this more than once. The Red Sox have done far better with the draft than the Yankees have over the last few years. And even the guys who the Yankees drafted recently, Blake Rutherford was traded during the before the trading deadline this year. James Caprillion, who was another first round pick, was traded in the Sonny Gray deal. So the Yankees have traded a lot of their first round picks from the last couple of years. You know, the guy who they picked in this year's draft, they still have him. He's got an arm surgery though that he's going to be recovering from. But
I think
too.
Also, one thing about if you're a pitcher or if you're the team getting spied on, so to speak, maybe you pitch faster. Maybe you go in with.
But you can't because I mean you have to pause. You have to if you're in the stretch, you have to pause. It's a rule. If you don't pause and you quick pitch, it's a balk, and the runner moves up a base.
Oh, okay.
So you can't do that.
Well, I would love to see a speedier game, and part of it is pitchers walking around and also batters too.
Well, I mean, the only way that you can get around that is for the catcher to come out to the mound after every pitch, and that just slows down the game even more.
Right.
So, I mean, I would have liked to have seen Manfred, and not just because it's the Red Sox, but because you need to remove technology from the game. Like I said, if somebody picks up signs and figures it out what they're doing and how they're doing it, that's all well and good. That means you're smarter than they are, and you've outsmarted them, and you can take advantage of that. But when you have somebody who's either watching on TV and sees what's going on, or if they have binoculars somewhere and they're spying on the catcher and the signals and relaying that electronically, the electronic and technological part of it has to be removed from the game. Because it's an unfair advantage.
I agree. We're going to take a break right now. You're listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC, soon to be a podcast on Spreaker.com, also on iTunes. If you have a comment or question, give us a call, 516-572-7440, especially if you were at the Islander game yesterday. We'd like to get some fan feedback from that.
Oh, this has been such a hard week for me.
Why?
Well, I had this huge test that I didn't study for. I was fired from my job, and my mom is driving me nuts.
I hear ya.
How can I just forget about all of my problems?
Join the club.
Wait, are you listening to my conversation?
Yeah, sorry. Let me introduce myself. I'm DJ Rocky C, and by club, I meant club music.
I'm so confused. There are no clubs around here.
No problem. All you have to do is listen to my show, The Kickstart, featuring the best hits in dance music. On your floor. The club is never far, since now it comes to you. But there's also classic dance hits.
Girl, I'll house you. Girl, I'll house you.
The only thing you have to do is kick back and turn on your radio. The Kickstart, bringing the 2 and 2 straight to you. Wednesday nights at 9 on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Awesome. I'm gonna dance while I listen.
Please, don't.
Okay. Yo.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out.
Check it out.
We found something out I'm shocked about. Brandon, you get pedicure?
Yes, of course. My feet are always getting wet and dried up in socks and stuff like that.
First of all, I just want to put this in perspective. I cut my toenails once a year.
I've been wanting to get a manicure, but I will feel weird to just go by myself. So maybe we can try it out. We
you guys go together. That's a no.
Not a shot.
Really? You wouldn't go?
No,
Mike, I'll take you up on that.
There you go.
There we
Two
go.
guys, no more than that.
No more than that.
No.
Okay.
If I were to do that, I'd want it to be a big group of guys. Yeah,
I mean,
why not?
it's
Like all march in there. Just
Yeah,
like
let's
we're
all
here
march
for the
in there and be
pedicure.
like, 3, 5, 4, bum. I'm here to get my nails done.
Yeah, testosterone.
Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. On the voice of Nassau Community College,
90.3 WHPC.
Do you like video games, movies, comics, action figures, anything nerdy? Well, have I got a deal for you. Tune in to 90.3 WHPC. Should I do that again?
Just keep going. Just continue.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. for the only radio show that covers all things nerd culture with the two most fantastic hosts in all of the galaxy, Colton Murray and Justin Greenberg. This show is out of this world galaxy. Come on down. Tune in Mondays at 3 p.m. Hey, why did my music stop? I can't do this acting without my music.
The promo's over. Stop talking. Just play the stupid tagline.
Nerdvana, Mondays at 3 p.m.
Cut it and print it. I need an aspirin.
You happy with the song, brother?
Holding my hands up high.
Is that a alarm thing?
Yes.
Like throwing the deck of cards? During what song you throw the deck of cards? Sam?
There's a couple of them, but the main one is Where Were You Hiding When the Storm Broke?
Oh, okay. Anyway, you're listening to From the Press Box right here on WHPC, streaming at Spreaker, or streaming, I should say, at iHeartRadio app. Also, if you want to listen to the podcast later or listen to it again, it's on iTunes, also on Spreaker.com. Just quickly, it's not really sports, but it's sports entertainment. Bobby the Brain Heenan died yesterday, or as the people who didn't like Bobby the Brain, Bobby the Weasel Heenan died yesterday.
Yes, I'm letting you take this one.
If you watch professional wrestling in the 80s and 90s, first you saw Vince McMahon with Bobby Heenan, but then the magic happened when Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan got together because, people can learn how to be a commentator from Bobby the Brain. Because,
How so?
Because he would just say anything. And then Gorilla would correct him, of course.
Not always a good thing.
No, but it was a great show, and they were actually good buddies off mic.
Everybody in wrestling is good friends
right.
off.
Even if they hit each other with chairs.
The Iron Sheik was good friends with what's his name, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
That's right. Remember they got caught driving.
Yeah, and like on drugs or boozed up or whatever.
There was something was there, and I remember Martha Quinn read it on MTV, and she goes, "Aren't they not supposed to like each other?"
Yeah.
But Bobby the Brain died. Yes, he had some health issues. I
73 years old.
I just loved listening to Bobby the Brain. He was just. I'm not a fan of the bad guy, so to speak, in wrestling, and he was, of course, a manager also. Yeah. But as an announcer, him and Gorilla had real magic as announcers, and they were just great together. Nothing's been topped. The only thing that ever came close, well, this actually happened before, was Jesse the Body and Vince McMahon, because those two were great too.
You obviously watch this stuff way more.
Well, I did like wrestling. I don't really watch. It's changed. It's become more about mic techniques and other things. But back in the old days, when it was when the boxing administration or boxing commission actually controlled it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Until it was like 85, 86.
Before they finally acknowledged that it was fake.
Well, it's not fake. It's staged. There is a difference.
Same thing.
No, because if you, Paul Orndorff twists his knee one time climbing a fence, so if it's fake, he wouldn't be, he wouldn't.
Well, I mean, you still have to go through the motions,
right? It's like watching stuntmen jumping up and down. That's all. So, but the announcers help sell wrestling. Let's be honest.
Of course.
So, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain were fantastic.
They're the ones that get the. I don't know. I was going to say something pejorative, but I won't. They're the ones who get the fans worked up. Let's put it that way.
Right. That's a good way of working.
Yes.
So, just he died, and I just wanted to bring up his name because he was a good announcer.
He was good for what he did. You can't argue the fact that Bobby the Brain Heenan was good at what he did, and he helped sell wrestling. He helped popularize it, and obviously it's sad anytime somebody like that leaves us.
One time he was one time on the Letterman show. They did one of the anniversary shows, and the old days. With Ed Sullivan would like, and in the audience is Sonny Liston. And Sonny Liston would stand up and wave to people. Letterman had Bobby the Brain. He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby the Brain Heenan." And people were booing him and stuff. So, Letterman.
What did he expect?
Only Letterman would put Bobby the Brain up there.
But what did Letterman expect?
No. That was part of the show.
Was that the whole staged part of it?
I don't know if it was staged, but it was part of the thing. Anyway, so Bobby the Brain.
Booing.
We've talked about the Islanders. We've talked about the Red Sox. The Yankees this weekend took 3 out of 4 from the Orioles. Why do the Orioles always collapse?
Well, they don't always collapse, but
they seemingly
this season they certainly have collapsed. Their pitching has been terrible.
And nothing against Buck Showalter, but everyone says what a great manager is. He reminds me of like a Gene Mock. Everyone says how great a manager he was, but he always tended to have bad things happen to him.
Well, because you need a team, and let's face it, the Orioles are only so good, and their ownership refuses to really spend a lot of money. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say they don't spend a good amount, but they probably need to spend at least another $30 million to really compete with the Red Sox and the Yankees, and they refuse to do that. So that's why if they spent money to sign Chris Davis, and the fans wanted Chris Davis back.
Right.
He's a very much a popular player in Baltimore, but what does that leave the Orioles? It leaves them with a mediocre pitching staff, and in the American League East, if you have a mediocre pitching staff, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
The Yankees pitching staff is it's certainly not great. It's pretty good, but that's been a big issue for the Yankees this season, is they need a better pitching staff.
Sure.
So, and even the Red Sox have kind of put it together with spit and tape, as they say. With David Price has been hurt most of the season, and that's $31 million that basically has gotten flushed. Chris Sale has been very good, if not fantastic, for pretty much the entire season. He had a little blip there about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I think that blip is going to give Corey Kluber the AL Cy Young Award, but there's nothing wrong